from 86.
Oh, 86, yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing how many ideas which Tektronix could have developed which are multi-billion-dollar ideas. The Sun workstation, they should have been the Sun workstation, object-oriented databases. I joined in Tech Labs, again, after you left, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about the culture of the company which prevented them from developing? I mean, you said your idea was not, was it just the management, or, I mean...
You know, the company I worked for before Tektronix, I loved Tektronix. My time there, that was the best place I'd ever worked, other than mentoring some of the other things I've done. When I worked at Burroughs, it was a Detroit-based company, and it was incredibly political. When the corporate officers came, they literally rolled out a red carpet for them to walk in on. And this was in the California subsidiary, so this doesn't exactly match California, whatever. But at Tektronix, what I thought was good about Tektronix was they were always very encouraging to let people use Tektronix resources to work on their own projects. And the unfortunate thing was when those projects actually often would show some promise, they wouldn't act on it. So, you know, I think when Howard Bollum was there, he was very much of a take a risk, take a chance, follow your dream kind of thing. I think the company, though, as it got larger, just became more, this is what we did yesterday, so this is what we did today, so this is what we should do tomorrow, and not be visionary enough. You know, some people criticize the visionary aspect of things, but the truth of it is, if you look at what Bill and Paul did, or you look at what Zuckerberg did, or you look at what Scott and his friends did down at Sun, there was a real visionary aspect to all of it. They saw something, they believed in it, they thought that it should happen, and they were going to make it happen. I mean, I guess we'll find out in the movie if Steve Jobs is that way or not, but I think for a lot of us, and Wozniak were kind of the same. At Tech, I know there are a lot of good ideas, there are a lot of good people, but there was just not enough willingness to take the risks on the visions, I think. But I loved working there. I thought it was a great place to work. In fact, I modeled a lot of the mentor culture on Tektronix and also on Hewlett-Packard. When I was getting the company started, a friend of mine who'd been in a startup back in the East Coast told me that the culture of a company is created in its first 6 months and it doesn't change thereafter. So we actually put in a lot of work in those first 6 months to do very specific and very determined things to set a culture in the company. And I think that worked a lot in mentoring, and I think that held together for, at least for the first 10 years. It really got tested when we went through the difficult period. Yeah, it's hard to say. For a lot of good ideas, a lot of good people at Tektronix. Tektronix is not the only company that has trouble innovating internally, though. I mean, you could, the list, you can almost name a company. I mean, Hewlett-Packard's the same.
But the problem was not innovation. There were a lot of innovations. The problem was commercialization. I mean, there were a lot of innovations which came from Tech Labs, you know that. And, but commercialization was the problem.
Yeah, it's finding it, you know, there's a lot of bureaucracy in large companies. We even have a fair amount of bureaucracy at the larger days at Mentor. Sometimes it's hard to work through the bureaucracy. Sometimes you find that there are a lot of people who don't, but believe that they know what's right. In Mentor, we used to call those people the often wrong, but never in doubt. And you know, you run into a lot of that. You run into a lot of that in the venture capital world as well. But you know, yeah, Tektronix is not the only one that's difficult commercializing on good new ideas. I mean, even the desktop computer that the group around me was working on, that was a perfect example of an innovative idea that they'd come up with, and that had they succeeded in that, that would have been diamond. They would have been Sun. They would have been everything else. And what they were doing was the right thing, but the way they were doing it was totally wrong. Too closed to, we'll do everything ourselves kind of. But I love Tektronix. It was a great company.